Few television dramas from the 1970s managed to embed themselves into the cultural memory as deeply as Little House on the Prairie. Airing from 1974 to 1983, the series arrived at a time when American television was shifting between traditional family storytelling and more modern, socially aware narratives. What made this show stand out was not just its setting in the late 19th century frontier life, but the emotional intimacy it cultivated with its audience. It portrayed the Ingalls family's struggles in a way that felt immediate and deeply personal, despite the historical distance. Viewers didn't just watch the show, they grew up with it, returning each week to a world that felt both idealized and painfully real. Walnut Grove, the fictional town at its heart, became a symbolic place of moral lessons, endurance, and community values. The series blended warmth with hardship in a way that was rare for its time, often depicting hunger, illness, prejudice, and loss alongside moments of tenderness and hope. Michael Landon, who played Charles Ingalls, became the emotional anchor of the series, shaping its tone and direction. Alongside him, a young Melissa Gilbert brought Laura Ingalls Wilder's semi-autobiographical stories to life with sincerity that resonated across generations. The show's success was not accidental. It reflected a carefully balanced vision of nostalgia and realism. It offered viewers a simplified version of frontier life, yet never completely shied away from its brutality. That tension between comfort and difficulty is what ultimately made the series unforgettable, securing its place as one of the defining television experiences of its decade. From Page to Prairie, the origins of a cultural staple, the foundation of Little House on the Prairie lay in Laura Ingalls Wilder's beloved book series, which chronicled her childhood experiences growing up on the American frontier. When adapted for television, the stories underwent significant transformation to suit episodic storytelling and the expectations of a broad family audience. The adaptation expanded the narrative beyond Laura's personal memoirs, introducing fictionalized town dynamics, new character arcs, and moral dilemmas tailored for weekly television drama. Walnut Grove became a fully realized community rather than a backdrop, populated with farmers, teachers, shopkeepers, and families whose lives intertwined in complex ways. The adaptation process required careful balancing, preserving the emotional honesty of Wilder's writing while ensuring accessibility for viewers of all ages. The show's creators leaned heavily into themes of perseverance, family unity, and moral integrity, which resonated strongly during a decade marked by social change and uncertainty in America. This helped the series become more than just a period drama. It became a cultural touchstone that reflected contemporary values through a historical lens. Its ability to connect the hardships of the 1870s with the emotional realities of the 1970s allowed audiences to see parallels between past and present struggles. As a result, the series quickly grew into one of NBC's most reliable hits, building a loyal fanbase that spanned generations and solidified its place in television history. Characters who felt like family. One of the defining strengths of Little House on the Prairie was its ability to create characters that felt authentic and emotionally familiar. The Ingalls family formed the heart of the series, with Charles and Caroline Ingalls representing resilience, compassion, and moral guidance. Their daughters, particularly Laura, served as the audience's entry point into the world of Walnut Grove. As the series progressed, Laura evolved from a spirited child into a complex young woman, reflecting the passage of time both within the story and in the audience's lives. Beyond the central family, supporting characters such as Almanzo Wilder, Mary Ingalls and Harriet Olsen added layers of contrast, conflict, and humor. Each character was written with distinct moral dimensions, often oscillating between flaw and virtue in ways that made them relatable rather than idealized. The town itself functioned almost like an extended family, where disputes, celebrations, tragedies, and reconciliations shaped a shared emotional landscape. Casting played a crucial role in this effect, as actors brought sincerity and depth to roles that could have easily become one-dimensional. Melissa Gilbert's portrayal of Laura was particularly impactful, capturing both youthful curiosity and emotional maturity over time. This sense of continuity allowed viewers to form long-term emotional attachments, making the fictional world feel like a lived-in reality that extended beyond the screen. Michael Landon's creative control and vision. Michael Landon was far more than the lead actor in Little House on the Prairie. He was the creative force that shaped nearly every aspect of the series. Serving as actor, writer, director, and executive producer, Landon exercised a level of control that was uncommon in television production at the time. His vision emphasized emotional storytelling rooted in family values, moral dilemmas, and personal growth. Landon often directed episodes himself, ensuring that the tone remained consistent and aligned with his interpretation of the source material. This hands-on approach contributed to the show's distinct identity, but it also created tensions behind the scenes. His creative decisions sometimes clashed with network executives and fellow producers who had different ideas about pacing, tone, or thematic direction. Despite these disagreements, Landon's influence ensured that the series maintained a cohesive emotional core throughout its long run. His presence on screen as Charles Ingalls reinforced his role as the symbolic father figure of the series, both within the story and in production. However, this level of control also meant that the show often reflected his personal world, including his emphasis on redemption, forgiveness, and emotional resilience. Over time, his leadership style shaped not only the storytelling, but also the working environment on set, creating both admiration and friction among cast and crew members. The final farewell and the explosive ending when Little House on the Prairie came to its conclusion, it did so in one of the most dramatic and unforgettable ways in television history. The 1984 television movie, The Last Farewell, delivered a shocking narrative resolution in which the residents of Walnut Grove chose to destroy their own town rather than allow it to be seized by a powerful land developer. The decision culminated in a series of controlled explosions that leveled iconic structures such as the schoolhouse, church, and mercantile. This moment was designed as both a narrative and symbolic conclusion, representing the end of an era and the refusal to let the town be exploited. Audiences were stunned not only by the emotional weight of the story, but also by the visual spectacle of the destruction. The scene quickly became one of the most talked about moments in television history. What made it even more remarkable was that the destruction was achieved using practical effects on the actual set, rather than relying solely on miniature models or post-production effects. This added a sense of finality and realism that amplified its emotional impact. The ending sparked debate among fans, with some viewing it as a powerful metaphor for closure, while others felt it was too extreme for a series remembered for its warmth and family-centered storytelling. Building and destroying Walnut Grove, the decision to physically destroy the Walnut Grove set added a layer of permanence to the show's conclusion that few television series have ever attempted. Built as a fully functional outdoor set, the town had served as the primary filming location for nearly a decade. By the early 1980s, however, production realities and declining usage made its continued maintenance impractical. Rather than allowing the set to deteriorate or be repurposed for unrelated productions, the creators opted for a controlled demolition that aligned with the narrative finale. This choice blurred the line between storytelling and production reality in a way that heightened the emotional impact of the ending. The explosions were carefully planned and executed, ensuring safety while achieving the dramatic visual effect required for the film. For many involved in the production, the destruction of the set symbolized not just the end of a television series, but the closing of a creative chapter that had defined much of their professional lives. The physical absence of Walnut Grove afterward reinforced the sense that the story had truly ended, leaving no remnants behind. This decision contributed significantly to the mythologizing of the series' conclusion, turning it into a landmark moment in television production history. Ratings decline, and the network decision by the early 1980s. Little House on the Prairie had begun to experience a natural decline in viewership. After nearly a decade on air, audience tastes were shifting, and newer television programs were emerging with different styles, themes, and pacing. The network ultimately determined that the series had reached the end of its viable broadcast life, not due to controversy or failure, but because it had simply completed its narrative arc and lost some of its earlier momentum. This decision was not abrupt, but rather the result of gradual evaluation of ratings, performance, and programming strategy. While the show still maintained a loyal fanbase, it was no longer the dominant force it had been in its earlier seasons. Rather than continuing indefinitely or attempting to reboot its format, the production team chose to conclude the story with a definitive ending. This allowed the series to retain its integrity and avoid the creative stagnation that often affects long-running television dramas. The decision to end the show on a strong narrative note, rather than fading gradually from relevance, contributed to its lasting legacy, ensuring that it remained memorable rather than forgotten. Creative tensions behind the scenes. Although Little House on the Prairie projected harmony and moral clarity on screen, its production history included moments of tension and disagreement. Michael Landon's dominant creative role occasionally placed him at odds with other creative forces involved in the series. Differences in vision regarding storytelling direction, character development, and production priorities led to professional friction at various points throughout the show's run. Some cast members also expressed concerns over working conditions, compensation, and creative input, reflecting broader industry dynamics of the time. These tensions did not overshadow the series' success, but they did shape its internal atmosphere. As the show progressed, relationships evolved, sometimes becoming strained under the pressures of long-term production schedules and public expectations. Despite these challenges, the cast and crew continued to deliver consistent performances and maintain the emotional tone that audiences expected. The combination of creative passion and professional disagreement ultimately contributed to the complexity of the series' production history, revealing that even the most wholesome-looking television environments often involve significant behind-the-scenes negotiation and compromise. Personal struggles and emotional fallout. Michael Landon's personal life also intersected with the production in ways that affected relationships on set. His affair with makeup artist Cindy Clerico, while he was still married, created emotional ripple effects among cast and crew members who had viewed him as a stabilizing and fatherly presence. This situation added a layer of personal complexity to an already demanding production environment. For some cast members, particularly those who had developed close bonds with Landon over the years, the revelation was deeply impactful and led to periods of distance and estrangement. Melissa Gilbert, who had formed a particularly close relationship with Landon during her time on the show, experienced emotional strain as a result of these developments, leading to a temporary breakdown in communication between them. Over time, however, some of these relationships were eventually repaired, reflecting the complicated mix of professional respect, personal hurt, and long-term connection that developed during the show's extended run. These dynamics illustrate how deeply intertwined personal and professional lives can become in long-running television productions, especially those built around strong emotional themes in close-knit working environments. A series unafraid of difficult stories despite its reputation as a wholesome family drama. Little House on the Prairie frequently explored serious and often uncomfortable subject matter. The series did not shy away from depicting racism, poverty, disability, addiction, and violence, often presenting these issues through emotionally charged storylines that challenged both characters and viewers. Episodes dealing with injustice and social inequality were particularly notable for their willingness to confront difficult realities rather than avoid them. This narrative approach set the series apart from many of its contemporaries, which often prioritized lighter or more escapist themes. By integrating such topics into a historical setting, the show encouraged audiences to reflect on both past and present social issues. The emotional weight of these episodes contributed to the show's reputation as more than just entertainment. It functioned as a platform for moral reflection and empathy. These stories often left lasting impressions on viewers, reinforcing the idea that frontier life was not only about survival, but also about confronting ethical and societal challenges. Episodes that challenged audience expectations. Certain episodes of the series became particularly memorable for their bold storytelling choices. Rather than relying solely on episodic moral lessons, the show occasionally ventured into darker and more complex narrative territory. These episodes addressed themes such as loss, abuse, prejudice, and personal tragedy with a level of seriousness that was uncommon in family-oriented programming at the time. One of the most discussed episodes involved deeply emotional and disturbing subject matter that left a strong impact on audiences and sparked conversation about the role of television in portraying difficult realities. While some viewers found these episodes unsettling, others praised the series for its willingness to engage with real-world issues in a thoughtful manner. This dual reception highlighted the tension between entertainment and realism that the show consistently navigated. By pushing these boundaries, the series expanded the possibilities of what family television could address, influencing later programs that sought to balance emotional storytelling with social commentary. Legacy of a Prairie that never truly fades. The enduring legacy of Little House on the Prairie lies in its ability to remain relevant decades after its original broadcast ended. The series continues to be revisited by new generations through reruns and streaming platforms, where its themes of family, resilience, and moral integrity still resonate. The dramatic conclusion, featuring the destruction of Walnut Grove, has become one of the most iconic endings in television history, symbolizing both closure and transformation. While debates continue about the tone and direction of that final moment, its impact is undeniable. The show's willingness to blend warmth with hardship, nostalgia with realism, ensured its place in the broader history of television storytelling. It demonstrated that family-oriented programming could engage with serious themes without losing emotional accessibility. More than 4 decades later, discussions about its characters, stories, and production history continue, reflecting a cultural footprint that remains significant. The Prairie may have been destroyed in narrative terms, but its presence endures in the collective memory of television audiences worldwide.